Hey everybody, it's Matt with Matt's Video, and today we're doing an anime review on the anime Aquarion Evol. Now, Aquarion Evol is the second piece of a three-part series of animes known as the Aquarion series, first being the Genesis of Aquarion, or as it's normally just called, Aquarion, then Aquarion Evol, and then Aquarion Logos. Now, Aquarion Evol, just finished it literally about 10 seconds ago. So, it's fantastic. It's leaps and bounds better than Genesis of Aquarion, and that's because it took what Genesis gave it and added to it tenfold. Just built upon what the foundation that Genesis made and made it better. Now, if you're unaware of what this series is about, it's a mech anime series about a group of people known as vectors who pilot, well, they're elements who pilot the vectors that if three of them merge together, they become Aquarion. Now, in Evol, it's a little different because it starts off of there are Aquarias, and then the main character, Amata, comes together and he makes it into Aquarion, like it used to be. Now, there's a lot of lore to this series that I can't go into in this video, so I'm just going to give you a summary of what this particular segment's about. Like I said, you have Amata, who is your main male character, and he is an orphan who grew up in a movie theater. His mother was an actress, and so he's obsessed with the movie she was in before she left him. And one day a girl comes into the movie theater that he works for. Her name is Mikino, and Mikino is your female main character of the series, and she is sort of an emotionally cut off girl at the beginning. She feels like she's useless, that nothing she does is worth anything, and that she can never accomplish anything. That's kind of the way she was raised, and so what she believes. Well, they go out on the town one day, and all of a sudden, death rains from on high. Bunch of things known as the abductors, which are kind of like the shadow angels from the original series. They start taking people from the city, and then that's when the Aquarius show up. I believe the first one was Andy, Malloy, and Cayenne, which are three of your other male characters. Andy is the comedic relief, Cayenne sort of the stoic character, and Malloy's just the random kind of ladies' man, I guess you would say. And here's the thing about the elements. If you haven't seen my Aquarius review, you might want to go check that out, but I'll just touch on it real quick. The elements each all have an elemental power of some sort. Cayenne's is he can see into the future through visions. Andy's is he can manipulate the weaknesses in certain materials and create holes in them. And Malloy's is he can mess with the molecular structure of objects and then crumble them, sort of making them weak enough that essentially a building becomes as fragile as a piece of paper. Let's see, Amata's is the ability to fly. He can grow wings out of his ankles like Hermes, and he can fly that way. And you figure out later, I won't give it away, what Mikino's is, because it's sort of a turning point in the series. So, but Mikino does have one, you just gotta wait for it. Then you have and at the beginning of the series, the way that they make Aquarion is they merge, and when you merge, you essentially, your bodies and soul all merge together into one object. You're three different people, but you're connected in that way. And so, because of that, Neo de Ava, who is the organization that runs the Aquarions, made it to where the men and the women could not merge together. So it was literally split down the middle of the facility, a giant wall known as the Berlin, which clever reference. I like it. But they split it right down the middle. It's where men and women could not interact at all. The only time they interacted is when during battle simulations they had to be in the same room to get information. But then, yeah, you have the females, which are, I believe at the beginning you had Mix, Suzanka, and Zessica. I think those are the three that were in the Aquarion at the time. I don't know. That was 26 episodes ago. It kind of blurs a bit. But, and each of them have their own abilities as well. Mix's is the opposite of Andy's, to where he makes holes, she fills holes. Which is why they're kind of a expected love interest kind of thing. Suzanka's is the ability to deteriorate metal into rust, like make it rust. So like if she touches it, it can rust it, which is convenient when you're fighting other mech-like creatures. And what was the other one? Zessica. Zessica has the ability to, hers called Contrary Twister, which she's able to twist things. I know it sounds random, but it works, I guess. I mean, throughout the series, you see her twisting all kind of things, from metal to air, it doesn't matter. But anyway, so they come on the scene, and then Amata ends up sucking him and Mikino into the Aquaria, thus making the first male and female merge. May I help you, phone? But, so that happens, and everything sort of, it all goes from there, I guess. But, so, then Amata and Mikino get to Neo Dieva. They become elements themselves. And, yeah, that's how the series starts. Now, what I want to talk about here is the fact... Silent. Anywho. But the correlations between Genesis and Evol, I want to kind of touch on that a bit, because I find it really cool how they did it. First off, you get flashbacks to the events of Genesis, which happened, I believe, 12,000 years ago, according to the timeline in Evol. So, you get flashbacks to what Apollo and Sylvia and Toma and all those people did in the first one. You get flashbacks of that all the time, and because, you know, the big thing about this is it's all about regeneration of Apollonius and Celion, and yeah, all of them. It's all about them being reincarnated into new people, and that's where Amata and Mikino come in. They're reincarnations of people, so it all works together. So they have flashbacks to them quite often, and so that's what in the story. And the thing I loved when I heard it, it made my heart sing a bit. They actually took the original theme for Aquarion, like Genesis of Aquarion, and they put it back into Evol. At one point during a battle sequence, I was like, I recognize this. Where is this from? And I was like, I think, was this the original theme for Genesis? And I looked up on YouTube, and it was. And I was like, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you make a sequel that respects its source material. And so, good on them. And then they even did it better. In the final episode, at the end, they took the original Aquarion music, they translated it completely into English, and it sounded like they got an English speaking singer to sing it. Because it's not like that English, you know, that you sometimes get in anime music. It's actually good. And I was like, halfway through the song, I was like, wait, this is all in English. This is awesome. It's cool. But yeah, so it's a great sequel. A lot of, you know, animes that they go from one to a second anime entirely, and you can tell this is, you know, newer and cleaner. It's a different animation style, a lot cleaner, a lot more modern animation style. Um, the voice acting is on point. They even got the same guy that did Apollo's voice to voice Amata, which I found very clever since he is a reincarnation of it. So good on them for that. And then you have, you know, Zen Fudo and Gen Fudo. If you watched Aquarion, Fudo was the commander of Dieva back then, and he's still the commander of Neo Dieva now. So that's cool, and it explains that a lot more and exactly who Fudo is, because it never touched on that in the original series, but you always wondered. And it touches on that. Won't give that away because, again, it's another turning point in the series. Don't want to say anything. But yeah, great series. Great music, great story, great action sequences, good character development. There's a lot of characters in this thing. There are so many of them, but somehow they make each of them personable and each of them somebody you actually want to root for. And that's great. Even the villains are well done. Mikage and Kagura and Izuma, all of these, you know, antagonists that they have to face throughout the series, they're actually relatable. You kind of, except for Mikage, because he's just, don't like him much. But the other ones, you really want to see what happens to them, see where their stories take them. And that's really great in my opinion. So they did that well. But yeah, great series. I'm out of time. I can't really speak too much more on it. I have to say it's definitely a 4 out of 5, maybe even a 4.5 out of 5. Great anime. I was kind of hesitant walking into it because I wasn't a big fan of just Aquarion, but this one made me like Genesis more. Yeah, I don't know how that worked, but that pulled that off. And so great anime. I really hope you watch it, give it a chance. You know, you would kind of have to watch Genesis of Aquarion, but not really, because it explains everything you need to know from Genesis. But you know, you might want to watch it anyway. But definitely give this series of animes a shot. I mean, it's a mech anime series, so a lot of people might be turned off from that, but it's not what you think out of a mech. It has love story in it, friendship, and it's very new in the fact that there's, you know, homosexual relationships in it. There's one point to where Mix gets turned into a boy, and Andy still loves her even though she is a boy. So there's that, and you have, of course, the thing between Apollonius and Toma, that whole love story, and of course you have the story of Amata and Mikino, but then you have Zessica, who also loves Amata, so you have a love triangle going on there that's very fun. Yeah, there's something in this for anybody, so definitely give it a shot. I watched it on Funimation. I'm sure since Funimation and Crunchyroll are getting together, which I'm going to be making a video on that soon, I'm sure you could probably find it on Crunchyroll eventually. So definitely give it a shot. That's all for me today. Today. I'm suddenly Australian. That's all for me today, guys. If you like this video, give it a like. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the next video. See y'all guys later.